Okay. It is 7:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I kind of am making a vlog. I'm just this is like an energy report, a kind of a personal one. Because things like this have been happening more extremely. Things like what? Well, my pendulum is not only has so much energy and just goes around, but okay, it's really going fast now, but it will also make geometric shapes. I'm noticing this is like an Ascension vlog. I'm going to just throw down my Christmas tree's still up, but it's actually February 11th. Um Anyways, let me just go on. So like the wrong ear. My you see this my crystal on my earring, it now continually wags. When my head's perfectly still. Um my second sight, the sight I had when I was a child, is returning to me. So when I was a child, if I looked at anything for more than 2 seconds, it would either breathe, sort of start to melt away, grow, shrink, or it just wouldn't hold its form. And this is back. Um, I think there'll be some things we have in common, like the buzzing in the ears. Oh, by the way, I am going to do a reading, a very weird reading, with all my cards and stuff, and I'm going to pull runes because this is kind of a vlog, because this is kind of like a personal reading, but I think you might be interested in it because I want to know what is happening with the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs who have been standing strong on the land and battling the Canadian government and the RCMP for so many years, umpteen years. Okay, like since colonization, like maybe 100 years or something, even though we're very focused on this part of it. And I, in fact, was up on their territory at Sam Green Creek in 1988. And I'm very concerned about the state of the people. They are camped out and have been for the past 5 days in front of the BC Parliament. So we're going to ask some questions about that energy, oddly enough, because that's what I want to know. Now back to this, what people call the Ascension, even though I don't, because it makes me feel like I'm going somewhere. And I want to tell you that I believe that we get everywhere from here. And so this has to do with like astral travel or interdimensional travel or experiencing what else there is to experience. I just saw a bunch of pictures people are taking with their cameras of the planets. What do they look like? They look like glowing energy, without a solid form around the outside. They look kind of like, how do I describe it? Like, gee, kind of like a spot of light trying to come through darkness. And that's because these are portals, and so is your heart, and so are a few of the other chakras that you have on your body or energy centers. So all of this is firing up. The things you've heard about the um, genetic manipulations that may have happened to humankind either during the Sumerian times with the Anunnaki interfering, or maybe you've heard it during the times of Atlantis. There was some weird, breeding going on there, and maybe that we have most of the people on the planet that have the rhesus monkey gene. In other words, on every blood cell that they have antigens on them, on our blood cells. And these um, antigens affect what we will, in terms of blood, accept or reject. And this is why you need to get a blood transfusion from the same blood type. I don't take blood transfusions. I almost lost my life in the hospital once because I refused to take it. Anyways, I didn't die. Isn't that great? And that's just because I was still in a state of wonderment, as I am, about blood and the significance of it. So what we're going to do also is we're going to ask about something I think is going on, which I think there are two bloodlines on the planet. One is real sick and needs a lot of healing, and the other one, not so much, a little healthier. So I know I'm all over the place, all right? And because this is just a vlog, I'm not doing, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm recording it. I guess I've been up all night. The stars are a pictograph map of messages that anybody can look at. I have an app, a free app I downloaded on my computer. It's called Stellarium, Stellarium, and you can just see the whole night sky. You can zoom in on planets. You can, okay, the energy shifted for me somewhere December 25th or December 26th, and all of a sudden I felt like a new person, and all this new annuities. It's insanity and annuities. And my daughter and I were sitting here, and I had my Stellarium on, and all of a sudden I have the sun close up because I'm watching the sun, I like to do that. And all of a sudden these geometric shapes flash, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Looks like light codes. And then there was a huge CME that happened at that time. The Schumann resonance went insane. And so these kinds of cosmic energies, and I've been watching that. If you have watched any of my other videos, you've heard me mention Wages World, WAGES World. Go there. He analyzes the Schumann resonance almost daily, and he also analyzes the energy that hits Earth. And right now, look at his past few videos, because there's this energy, and he's like, where's this coming from? It's not coming from the sun. So the truth is, there is new energy on Earth, and I know us prophetess types are constantly calling the alarm off, but I'm really thinking, with all the changes and all the massive amounts of ascension symptoms, and when I talk about those two bloodlines, we're going to draw cards about them. It's not like you can't enhance your soul and your awareness and your etheric or your non-physical body in order to compensate for the fact that your bloodline and your genetics and your DNA might I just don't know how to put this. I don't know how to put this. Let me give you, okay, first of all, we're gonna go back to this bloodline thing, and I'm gonna tell you a story. Yes, I am O negative. And in the past several years, I have figured out how to figure out who else is, and I will actually go up to strangers and ask them and test it out, and they go yes, and then they look at me funny. Anyways, I just had a young woman come, I'm not joking, literally knock on my door and say, I felt that I needed to come into your house. So she sat down, had another friend over, and I could tell who she was, so I didn't want to say it right away, but eventually I said, do you know what blood type you are? And yeah, she's O negative. Ew, I'm going to say bringing in the sheep. I know that's lame. Okay, so let's just take a look at what is happening with the people of the land. with the Earth Warriors. Let's just see how this battle for Earth is going, whereby the colonial government of Canada has had its clutches on the people's Earth for far too long, even though it's only been a crappy 150 years. Still far too long. And so now we're going to see how this is going, what kind of strength the people might need if any of the people watch. And I don't know that they will, because like not a lot of people watch my videos, but it doesn't really matter, does it? No. Okay, so the first thing that we have is Woman of Cups, the Rejoicer. So, well, that's a good sign, isn't it? All right, so that's making me feel a lot better. That's telling me that the female leadership that is at the Parliament buildings right now is clean, that there is a sense of purity there, that there's not a lot of people there that have hidden agendas or looking for any other power other than the pure holy power that's connected to the land. So that's very good. And the next card that comes up is the Strength card, of course, because the strength is what we need. It's what they need. It's what they have. And while you're sitting at home and you don't know what to do, please draw that strength up within you and send it to them. And the next card that we have in this horrible, ridiculous thing is the Six of Worlds, which is synergy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for all of the people of Earth to come together in synergy. It takes a lot for all of us who have come through varying astrological portals associated with varying planets, which kind of make the 12 tribes of Earth, the 12 planets, and we come bursting through there and we're like, hey, I'm an Aries. You're a Cancer. I don't know what to do. But we have to, the synergy of this journey, the integration, the coming together, as easy, difficult, explosive, tumultuous as it may be, this is growth. This is evolution. Like it or not. And the final word on the situation is harmony. Now, harmony is an interesting little thing, and you may not realize that everything is in harmony. And you may not realize, if you live in the city, the next time you go out there and you're listening to all those different sounds, the bus is going by, maybe there's construction, there's other cars. If that was being presented in a dissonant fashion, in a dissonant harmonic, you wouldn't be able to stand it. And I have done a few experiments with my own voice and how you can bring through harmonic resonance these sounds in your environment into harmony with yourself. It's quite intense. And again, what I'm talking about and these crazy ancient teachings and practices that allowed us to be the fabulous intergalactic community of amazing beings that we were before some jackasses thought, hey, I think it'd be cooler if I was king of the world and all the humans were enslaved. I think that's what's happening. I think we're coming back, but we don't want to leave anyone out. This is not that weird Orthodox holy roller Christian thing where it's like, I get Jesus on my side, you are going to hell. It's not that at all. So we are striving at this time for harmony, exactly when the chord sounds pretty dissonant. So it's really up to us. And the indigenous people continue to bring us back to the heartbeat of Mother Earth, our own heartbeat, the Schumann resonance. All right. I'm just going to say, if you haven't figured out that indigenous peoples near you have about 50,000 more answers than you actually need, I'll just reminder, okay. So this bloodline thing. Okay, now, so there's the bloodline thing, and um, so I think there's this like weird shifting, harvesting. Let's just throw some cards about this weird bloodline. And because I think that I will speak from the perspective of the bloodline that is born with peace in their hearts, that never can understand war in any way and would never say, yeah, oh yeah, it makes sense in that case. The ones who I guess sometimes we get called empaths or stuff, but I think that's a silly label. That's just like, hey, when you hurt, I hurt. And this is, I think, supposed to regulate us from hurting people. So they say we're sensitive, but are we? Are we just normal? And you're desensitized. So, it becomes very confusing, but it isn't. And it is coming down to that. We are at this place where it's like, do you believe in war? Do you believe in peace? Do you believe that the number one thing that we do right now is feed and protect our children or not? Boom. And that is why all these crazy Jeffrey Epstein and all these other colossal horror stories surrounding abuses and against humanity are coming up. They're coming up because you need to choose, clearly. I'm not trying to be an alarmist or freak you out. I'm just saying that, all good and bad stories come to an end. And we are in that time. Sorry, we're in the end times. I didn't want to say it. I was thinking before I made this video, do not say we are in the end times. We are in the end times. So, and why? Because, again, I'm trying not to attach myself to the Bible too much because there's like 2 or more gods in the Bible. And, these guys are not nice. And so we also have the teachings of Yeshua, which, as we know, are pretty hard to chip away at in any way, not to mention the guy's funny as heck. He's making these cutting, scathing. He's got a pretty good comebacks. Anyway, so some people think that this non-rhesus bloodline is either pre-Egyptian or related to Yeshua and his 12 disciples, which maybe they thought, heck, let's seed 12 new bloodlines and stuff. Now, so let's just say that these cards over here are going to be about the one bloodline, and these 2 cards are about the other bloodline. Because I want to know more about this, and I want to know more about my people, and more about how to help people who may have been part of another hybridization / form of creation. Not to be like a weird separatist or anything. I'm not going to second guess myself a ton. Okay, so on the one side, we have the Amoata, the sage of higher knowledge. And with the sage of higher knowledge is Soma from the galactic heart. And then the other bloodline is dealing with medicine of the butterfly Kachina. So what that makes me think of is medicine of the Illuminati, MK Ultra, Monarch, mind control. So, yeah. So, some of us are more susceptible to it and some of us are less susceptible to it. And then some of us will just tune in to the truth and then try and abide by it and not just be happy knowing it, which means that when, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, depends on how old you are and when you got this information. But anyways, some of us got the information that, they're sending out subliminal messages and mind controlling and fine tuning not just what we think, but much more when we watch regular television programs and regular media and so on, and we quit watching TV. We also quit watching, tuning into the media all the time. We quit taking our cues from what we saw as the controllers. And at the most extreme end, and you can look this up, please, MK Ultra is real, the Illuminati are real. Dr. Alan Cameron at the Allen Institute in Ontario in the 60s and 70s really did a lot of really terrible experiments on people. And this is the thing, bloodline or not. It's about whether or not you are, have been, or are going to give in to these controllers. And the other card that goes with the other bloodline is Diamond Tiger of the Black Moon. Second chances bring success. I'm glad this is coming up because as I talk about this and I talk about this difference between people and how it's coming up so strongly, and everyone seems to be able to sit on one side of the fence, it's great. You're either for Trump or not, for Brexit or not. You either this, everyone, it's getting there. And that's very good because then it allows those who are clearly on the side of the fence that does not allow for growth or evolution, they can see us on the other side. But only if we stand up at this point and own who we are, which is really hard, trust me. Really hard for me to make these videos and talk about all this stuff. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. Okay, so we want this second chance of success for all of the beings on the planet, regardless of the condition that they're in. So if you're I do my readings, I always talk about star seeds or light workers and these spiritual lineages and the things we inherit, what we're born with. And then we get a little, we feel isolated, then we end up I know some readers call other people normies, or we say, it's not, I don't like this. We want everyone to if not have the ability to just be the teachings and not have to work that hard at it, like some of us we just don't, but to learn them and to go through the process of embodying them, and for us to not but you know what, the energy is coming down, and it is still true that you either can handle the energies, accept them, you can expand your chakras, you can open your arms to it, you can you know how to do this, you know how to receive the galactic soma, the galactic honey of awareness. But more than that, like, this is the soma that coats your DNA strands. And some of us we keep ourselves healthy in really weird ways, and all of this is it's like it's going to flip, you see. The world is seems like it's upside down because we are turning it right side up. But we have this lovely galactic soma dripping down and going all down our stuff. And so we just automatically say, no, I don't want to do that. Or we, so And then, a lot of us, it seems like we didn't do much with our lives, and we didn't we weren't ambitious. Maybe like we're the ones that were just kind of laying on the beach and stuff. Well, our day has come. It looks like. Now, the runes. I explained before that I don't know anything about the runes. What I mean by that is I haven't really studied them, even though I've had the book. I have the book. You'll notice I don't read the cards from the book because, I'm just here. So now I'm going to pick the rune, but I might just spiel, or I might read it. I don't know yet. And this, I don't know. I'm just doing it. Okay. So I'm going to read this. This is what we have. And you can take a look at that. Now, what I'm getting right away is language of light. I'm getting that geometry, light, sound, vibration. You know what I mean? You don't need like a ton of words. You just need like the one geometry that represents the vibration, etc., etc. Okay, this is hard to read. This is, I think, yeah, it must be because it's not crossed. This is limitations. Okay, limitations. And I think that we could say that that's all we've had on us. So some people are like, how do I get this? Or how do I get, you have it. You have a limitation upon it that needs to be removed. It says, the other words that go with this is, and it says now this, I didn't pronounce that correctly. It says limitations. It also has shame and constraint. So look, we got to get past the shame of being crazy, weird, and so on. Face it, you're tripping out. Yeah. And if you're not tripping out in a really positive kind of whoa way, then you are gripped uh, by fear, which is precipitated by the coronavirus and Donald Trump. So that's it. That's my blog. I'm finished. I don't have no idea what I said or why, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I will, well, let's face it. I'm connected to all of you. I know all of you. I see all of you. I feel all of you. You know who I am. You know. Knowing. It's the new knowing. All right. Namaste. Oh, that's how I get out of here. Namaste. Now we'll go trip out for the rest of 2020, I guess.